Facebook Live, all about building connection through creativity with our kids. Maybe you'll get some ideas for to use with your own kids, and see that creativity comes in many forms. So there's something for everybody out there. Um, but be willing to try something. Just be open. Be willing to try something, and even allow the kids to teach you what they've learned, if they're involved in something, or just to talk about what they're involved in. So let's get into the blog. So research, has shown us that creativity is really good for our mental and physical health. It's vital, in fact, and we tend to ignore that. So it increases our confidence, our self-confidence. We can see it in adults, decreasing stress levels and the risk of burnout. Productivity, we know, goes up when people are more creative. Leadership skills are improved, flexibility, outside the box thinking, reaction times are all improved. We also know from research that it cuts the risk of people getting depression. Um, it's used in terms of therapy. Art, you know about art therapy, I'm sure. But we use other forms of creativity when we're talking about therapy here as well, for treating different illnesses. So it's also cutting the risk of chronic illness, and Alzheimer's. You want to keep the brain active. That's what you're using it for. So it's also, I think, something we need to think about in terms of the life work balance. Now, that's a big hint for anybody out there who thinks, work is everything, because it isn't. It's not work life balance. We should rephrase that as far as I'm concerned. It's life work balance, and that's what we need. And part of, our life, getting that life balance is connecting with others. We are social creatures. We need that connection. And what better way to do that is to teach our kids as well. So combining the two, you're combining creativity and teaching them how to be social creatures that they are, connecting with them yourself. That's important to teaching them a life balance. And you're teaching them many life skills as well through creativity. And we're going to come to that in a second. So, we want to combine the two. And when we combine that connection with the creativity with the kids, what you're doing is you're giving them a healthy sense of security, secure attachment to you. You're also, as I said, helping with their mental health and their emotional health as well. That's just as important. We're also, teaching them effective communication skills, problem solving skills, critical thinking. We're teaching them how to relax, how to have fun and just play, and daydream, and that's vital. Daydreaming is vital. So let's get on to it. Let's get into ideas and areas of creativity that we can use here. And it isn't all about art and music and things. They're wonderful, but it's not just all about that. Daydreaming. That's the very first thing I put down on the list of ways you can get the kids to connect with creativity, but also connect with you, is to daydream. Allow them to daydream, and you join in. Visualization, which I'm sure if you are aware of any therapy that we do as psychologists and counselors, we use visualization. Visualization is hugely used now, I think, across the board, in terms of even life coaching. Business coaches will use it, with entrepreneurs, get them to visualize. That's a form of daydreaming, guys. It's important. One, it will help you to relax, and that's important. That's a key element there, is the relaxation. But it also helps fire the imagination, and that's important. Remember, we're talking about, building problem solving skills. We're building critical thinking, outside the box thinking. This is part of where it comes from, firing their imagination. And what better way to do that is to just lie down on a blanket, particularly now with the sun. I mean, it's a beautiful day here in Ireland today. And, just watch the clouds go by and just relax, allow the mind to wander. You can use other things. You could, put on the music and get lost in the music. Scent is another one. So be careful with scented candles, but You could use something like that. You could also use audiobooks, just lying there listening to the audiobook and getting lost in it. Or allow them to get lost in a book. You read and they read at the same time. Kids do that, or read them a story. It's a great way to get lost in their imagination. The next thing is to allow them to play. Play is vital. They need this. Children need time to play, to just hang out and be kids. Again, you're using their imagination, but they're playing, and that's important for child development. So think fun here. That's the key word here with play, is fun. It's all about fun. So if you're joining in, it's not about competition. It's about letting go of the inhibitions that you have as an adult and just getting down on their level and joining in and having some fun. And that's the whole point of this. So think scavenger hunts. You don't even have to come up with your own. There's plenty up there. If you go up to the likes of Pinterest or YouTube or somewhere else, there'll be somebody will have a scavenger hunt already made out for you. Dress up. You don't have to dress up, but they can, and you sit and watch them act out some stories. Nature walks, get out in nature, talk to them about, the trees and the different birds. Learn together. You don't have to have the information. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can connect that way with getting them out in nature, and then learn about it. Come back and learn about it. Let's look up that tree we saw. Take a photograph. Um, just play with the toys. Get down on their level. Play with the Lego. I know I've stepped on so many bits of Lego in my life. But anything like that, dolls, whatever they're into, let them play with them. Skipping, hopscotch, tennis, all for fun, not competition. It's not about who wins. Quiet games as well is important. So think quiet board games, or hangman or something like that, little word games. You're teaching them things as well. They're learning, but they're learning through play, and that's what's important here. Um, Even chores can become a game, because first one to finish their chores gets to pick the movie that night, something like that. Or we once we get the chores done, we'll relax and we'll have a treat. You can make it a game in that sense. So again, it's about, as I said, getting down on their level, having some fun, and joining in. It's about you joining in. The next one is, an obvious one, is music. Music enjoyment. I mean, even having music on in the background is better than having a news channel on. Singing along. I know a lot of you are going, I can't sing. But this again is about having a laugh. It's about the kids seeing you make a fool of yourself and not being afraid to make a fool of yourself. And, don't take yourself too seriously. You're not getting up in front of a bunch of other adults. You're getting up with your kids and you're all singing together. You're just all having a bit of fun. Sing along in the car even. Again, you could have the music on and sing along while you're doing chores. Dance around the kitchen or the sitting room, or if the songs on a film that you're watching, sing along to them. A lot of the Disney ones have that, and have facilities where you can sing along with them. Again, the key word there is to have a laugh. A laugh at yourself, and show them that you can laugh at yourself and that it's okay, it's fun. This is something we're enjoying, we're relaxing. You're teaching them to relax as well as appreciate maybe different types of music. It was something I did with my kids. They have a wide variety of music that they like because it was done with me. As a child, I listened to a wide variety of music from different eras, and I pass that on to my own children and their adults, and even my grandchildren now listen to a wide variety of music. It's good. It is good. It's a way of connecting, and it is a good way to get in there and get all lines of communication open, particularly with teens, because you're going to listen to what are they interested in. You're hearing what they're interested in. They're more relaxed, they're more likely to open up and talk to you about what's going on. um Another obvious one, but it's a life skill here. This is cooking and baking. There's so much they can learn from this, and so many ways you can connect with them. There's so many skills involved, and it's not just they need to know how to cook so they can feed themselves in later life. But they also learn math skills, reading skills, science skills, and it's creative. You're getting creative there. Even it's not just necessarily with baking that you're getting creative. You do get creative with cooking, and try different things. Um, Hobbies and interests, all hobbies and interests. Again, you don't have to enjoy, and I've said this before, you don't have to enjoy their hobby, but take time to talk to them about it, find out about it, get them to teach you about it. That's important. You're building a connection there, and you're also building communication. Communication is the key one on this one. You're building connection and communication skills. So yes, it can be the art and the music. It can be also sports, TV shows, games, as in computer games. Knitting, sewing, gardening. Gardening is a great one as well. Another one we would use in therapy. Getting people out gardening. So gardening is a great one to teach them. Again, that's a life skill. Teaching them how to grow their own vegetables and maybe have some fruit trees if you have room for it. Um, but while they're talking or they're getting caught up in their interests and hobbies, they're more relaxed. So you're teaching them relaxation as well. But you're teaching them also to connect with others. If there's more people involved, they're connecting with you. And again, as I said, it's communication. It's all about communication because you're listening and they're doing a lot more of the talking there on those ones. Storytelling or stories in general. There's a lot you can do with stories here. You can read to them from birth. Absolutely important that you do so for their development. You can also make up, and we did this as well. When my kids were small, make up different versions of the old traditional fairy tales. As far as their imagination, you can add in the voices. That's something that we do even now as a family. We will mess with voices when we're talking to one another, just for a bit of fun. But we started that again when they were kids. And then act it out. You can get them to act it out if you don't feel comfortable, but maybe joining in and acting it out is a good thing. Act out those stories. Encourage them though to do it as well. Again, if they see you letting down your guard, if they see you being willing to laugh at yourself, you're opening that connection with them. You really are through this creativity, this means of creativity. So encourage them to do that. You can encourage them to write stories themselves if that's what they're into. But you can also just use audiobooks and just listen together. So remember, with stories, either listening to stories or hearing stories or acting them out, you're also teaching them, it's also about teaching them to read, but it's teaching them language skills and communication skills. So it's a big one there, as well as connecting with them. And I suppose the last one I'll talk about is art, which is obviously the obvious one. But please let go of the perfectionism here. It's not about, something being perfect. It doesn't even have to be paint. Again, there's lots of tutorials up there. I've seen some wonderful tutorials up there on how to draw stuff on YouTube. And, get ideas. Use different materials. It doesn't have to be paint, as I said. So string, glue, the dried pasta, photographs, make a collage, a memory collage, magazine cuttings, anything like that. Again, you're spending time, you're connecting, you're communicating about what they're creating. Let them teach you. If they've learned something in school, and they do an awful lot of art in school, let them teach you how to do this as well. Um, and as always, it's about building the connection through the interaction and the creativity. So as I said at the start, just be willing to be open to try new things yourselves. If you've never tried it before, try it. Give it a go. What have you got to lose? Maybe a little bit of mess that you have to clean up. Um, but you have some fun. And be willing and open to allowing them teach you. It's not always has to be on you to come up with the ideas. They're quite creative. They're quite good at what they're interested in. So allow them to teach you. to talk you through maybe ball skills or whatever it is they're into, the music that they're listening to, or how to play the game. Yeah, you're not going to get it right. And maybe you will be a little bit, no, this is stupid, in your own head, but that's okay. That's not what it's about. It's about connecting with them and using what they're interested in to build those connections. So I will leave it there, and thank you all for listening. Thank you, Deirdre, for being on as always, and to everybody else who watches live and in replay. Thank you so much here and on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I am available if you need me to talk to me. As I say to my mum's group, they have the option to private message me. So if you do need that, there is an option and a link through the blog, and there's a link of that. The blog's linked in the description. So if you want to connect in with me, you can do that and join the group, the free group. Lots of trainings up there if you need them, and an option to talk to me for free. So I leave it there. Thank you again, and I will talk to you all shortly.